teases me all the time.
Because
we all tease you. You're easy to tease. Easy to tease.
That's good. But hard to please.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh. Wait a minute.
Next song. Thank you.
We got to turn this off. We got some songwriting to do.
And that was the start of our conversation about Easy to Love, which is on the album Another Universe. We will be right back after this short introduction to the podcast. See you in a few.
Easy to love at slow pace. I'm not easy to love if you fear, but I'm easy to love if you like the way your heart takes a skip.
Easy to Love. And there is a subtitle for the name of that song.
What is it, Vickie?
Love Letter from an Enneagram 7. That's me. I'm the 7.
Really?
Yes. If you're not familiar with Enneagram, you are going to learn just a little bit more about it when we come back right after this break. We're going to tell you a little bit about Enneagram, but mostly about the song Easy to Love on the album Another Universe. This episode of the show is powered by Teach, Inspire, Connect. My name is Vickie Maris. You have just heard my voice along with my co-hosts, Scott Greeson and Michael Kelsey. You can probably already tell that we were having a lot of fun recording this conversation about my song, Easy to Love. That short bit of audio you heard of our band playing Easy to Love was captured from the back of the hall during my CD release concert, and it was captured on a small Zoom recorder. So the audio itself, there's nothing fancy about it, but I thought you would enjoy hearing the energy that comes when the band delivers that song and the energy from the audience. What you're hearing in that clip is the section where most of the instruments drop out and I'm snapping my fingers into the microphone. And that evening, the audience joined us. They were all clapping and everybody was having a great time. That part of the song is leading us into the ending of the song. And to give you one more snippet of a live performance, you will hear at the end of this episode another section of that same performance of Easy to Love. We are going to share with you the inspiration for that song. I have grown to be very fascinated in understanding personalities and the various types of personalities and how they drive our style of communication and our decision making. One of the ways I have explored that more deeply is to become an authorized partner with Everything DISC and the 5 behaviors. Those are 2 portfolios of content that I have available to bring into staff retreats and executive education sessions where I'm facilitating or instructing around the topics related to team development and communications with your team. In our life as musicians, we have found a way to combine that with my interest in helping teams grow, and we do a very fun and interesting session with the band where I facilitate discussion around self-selecting into roles where we best fit and nonverbal communications with your team members as well as verbal communications. In this instance, the team is the band. We use the band and the information that we know about the band members' individual styles and how we communicate with each other. We use all of that as an illustration and as a starting off point for a very interesting conversation. As the band members reveal their personality styles, it creates some very interesting conversation among the participants in the session and the members of the band and me as the facilitator. We have a lot of fun. And then it's also handy that there is a band available to provide entertainment to wrap up your event. It doesn't matter if your interest is in the Everything DISC profile in the Enneagram that you are going to hear Michael and Scott and I talk about in context with Easy to Love, or other styles of personality inventories. The Myers-Briggs is a popular one. There are many others. I highly recommend that you dig a little deeper into understanding your own personality. And you might consider writing a song about it. That's what I've done with this song, Easy to Love. If you would like to learn more about what we do as a band when we are working in team development sessions, you can find that at my Everything Disc website, which is everythingdisc.com/Vickie Maris. If this is your first episode of the podcast, welcome to the show. And if you have been listening to the other episodes about the other songs on the album, then welcome back. I encourage you to share the podcast with your friends and other music enthusiasts in your life. It also gives a boost to the show when you subscribe to the podcast. Thank you for doing that. I also use a hashtag when I'm posting about content related to personal development or team development, and also about my music. That hashtag is #teachinspireconnect. Put that hashtag in your search bar in whichever platform you are doing a search, and posts and videos and audio content like this podcast will pop up for you. Let's move into the fun conversation about Easy to Love. Thanks for joining us for this conversation. We're focused in this episode of the podcast about the song Easy to Love on the album Another Universe. The subtitle for that song is Love Letter from an Enneagram 7. I got really fascinated to learn more about the Enneagram. It's a personality inventory where you can learn more about your personality type, and it helps you to communicate better with others you work with or others that you songwrite with, people in your family.
Or people that you live with.
Or
Maybe
people-
like your husband.
People you live with. You just heard my husband, Scott Greeson, on the mic. We are in the studio tonight. Also joining us, Michael Kelsey, the recording engineer, and my co-writer on that song, Easy to Love. And Michael, of the three of us, is the Enneagram expert.
Am I?
Are you going to
No.
claim that? Well, yes, I think so.
I got you into it.
You
I?
did.
Yes.
You did.
Cool.
During the recording process, actually.
Yeah, it's good to maybe know little things about yourself or how you're wired or how you react to things.
I definitely agree.
And if it inspired the song, then cool.
And why your husband is why he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we've learned a lot about your personality
Yes. So
type.
thank you, Michael. Or maybe not. I'm not sure.
You're welcome.
The idea for the song came as I had been studying Enneagram and wanting to learn more about where I fit on the Enneagram. And I keep showing up in different spots depending on when I take the test and I don't know what mood I'm in or something. Might be typical of a 7, actually. I don't know. We should ask somebody that.
And I'm consistently a 2.
Yeah, you're always a 2, no matter when you take the test.
What a coinky dink.
Are you consistent in your type? I'm not going to reveal your type unless you want to reveal it.
Definitely a hardcore 5, yes.
So you're always a 5, no matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we won't get off on the Enneagram thing, but different things, different stresses in your life, you might react in a different way, but there's that fundamental thing. So I really feel you're a 7. You seem like a 7 to me.
Well, since then, I've done my self-studies and learned a little bit more about the Enneagram. And Michael, I would strongly agree with you that she is a 7.
Well, okay. So this 7 thought it would be a fun concept for writing a song. I, mind mapped a few things about what makes a 7, at least this 7, not confessing to represent all 7s of the world. Wrote a few of those things down on a sheet of paper in my little mind map and came up with a song one morning, early in the morning. And Scott, I remember you coming, I was out on our patio and you came out and you were like, are you writing another song? Because he thought I was pretty much to the end of the album, had all the songs we were going to record. I had a session that evening scheduled with Michael. We were going to do the keeper vocals on one of the other songs. And Scott's like, will you play that song for me? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play it. So I play him the song. And he's like, dang, I think you got another song.
Yeah.
You got to take that tonight and let Michael hear that.
Well, what was so crazy about it is you had 10 great songs in a can. Of those 10 songs, 8 of them came very quickly, which is almost unheard of. Then you add another one that's like, I want to hear that darn thing again because that was really cute. I mean, not cute. I mean, it's like it had a lot of identifiable things that I think a lot of people could relate to, and that's the bottom line. You don't hold those things back, man.
And that fine because you had enough songs, but then that's probably when the best songs come, because you have enough songs. You're like, I don't need to write anything right now, and then the fact that you don't need to do anything is where it all starts to just let loose. And then you just start having fun. And then next thing you know, we got something else to throw on there. And so it was definitely a needed song. So it came along right where we needed it.
It did. I hope that this will be inspirational for you if you're new to songwriting or maybe new to the process of recording your songs. This one was so new when I brought it to the studio, literally 8 hours old or something. I wasn't playing it very well yet, and I still even wasn't super familiar with the melody. And so when we recorded the scratch vocals, it didn't exactly come out the way I was hoping, but I was getting the sense, Michael, that you had enough, you could work with it. And then you got the idea to re-record it, and you kind of created a demo track of it where you were singing it and playing it much better than I had played it. And you added some really cool turnarounds at the end of the lines. And anyway, that gave me something to practice against, which was fantastic. So then, a couple weeks later, when I was back for another session, I was more prepared at that point for singing it. But then you and I ended up changing some of the lyrics, too, to the chorus. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it became a co-write. So you're my co-writer on that song.
Yeah, sometimes when you start with something, you realize something's there, and then you go like, okay, everything's not fleshed out or it's not, but you know there's something there. And so you're just trying to clear out everything out to get to what the important part is, and then just kind of takes on a life of its own, and you just kind of keep shaping it, and you're like, there we go. Then we brought it to life. But you always knew there was something there that was to be brought to life. And then we were kind of a little bit under the time crunch of knowing that we're coming to the end of the project, and we can't just be hung up on this thing for a couple of months. So there's like a lot of decisions to be made. But then sometimes under that pressure, you come up with those decisions and lyrical decisions. And the final time, we were even laying down the vocal track. We were still going back and forth on lyrics to finish it out. But you're like, try this, try that. And then all of a sudden there's that thing of like, oh yeah, that's what it needs to be. And it's like, that's all you ever long for, is that thing where you go, that's it. You don't want to leave it by going, I think that'll work. You don't want to leave it like that. You know what I mean? It's like, and then, so when you hit it and you go like, there we go. Yeah. That's what it needs. That's what it is. Yeah.
I want to share something that I feel like it might be unique to you. Maybe not, but it was fascinating to me to watch you work when we were doing the keeper vocals for that song. And we were also kind of changing some lyrics around in the process. And you were hearing guitar parts. I can't remember if it was scratch vocals or keeper vocals. I think it was the keeper vocals. But you were hearing guitar parts that you were going to add later after I left the studio. And so you were like, okay, I just need you to sing this, but then don't do the second phrase because I'm going to answer it with a guitar. And I'm like, this is so fascinating to me that you were hearing all of that.
What is that? Because somehow the vocals, sometimes you can say something, and I guess up to that point in the song, we know what you're saying. You can, it's more like a symbol. You can say something and we got it because we just heard the choruses beforehand. So you don't need to say the whole thing. So why not say a thing, let the guitar do the talking for a little bit, and then say a thing and I'll reference with the guitar. But then that way, once again, that thing to the ear, when you're listening to a song, it feels like something new. It's a new language. You get it. You get where it's going. There's still the familiarity, but we've kind of inverted it a little bit. But that's the thing about music that's so exciting. You keep trying to take a left turn, left turn, left turn, left turn. So it all ended up lining up really well.
Yeah. Thank you for your creativity on that song. It was so much fun, and fun to play that when the first time we played it live was in the CD release concert. It was fun.
It went really, really well. Well received. The other thing about this tune, the lesson for songwriters, is Vickie and I bounce ideas off each other all the time, and she'd come up with several different versions of the lyrics, bringing them to Michael and bouncing them off Michael, and Vic would say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And there were a lot of things that actually, quote unquote, worked. Mm-hmm. But it's the whimsical simplicity of what they came up with was sealed the deal.
Yeah,
right?
Michael, you kept pushing me that, like, okay, that works. It's got to be simpler than that.
Simpler.
Yeah.
It's too complicated.
Yeah. It's funny. You just know it when you hear it. And even though I know we're up against a time crunch, but you're like, it's just not the right thing, is it yet? And we were hitting it back and forth. Then you can almost think like, oh no, do we just need to let this go for a couple of days and think about it? Then right about that time, came up with a few ideas, and we're like, that's what it needs. And then,
yes.
But you want to feel that feeling. You want to feel the feeling like that's it, not like that will do. No, it's like, that's the thing. And then
Yes.
it's like, then you get excited about it and you're like, oh. And but sometimes maybe under pressure, people work the best. You know, sometimes you feel like when you create something that you want all the time in the world to feel free. But sometimes when you have constraints, that's what brings out the best in you to deliver.
I think there was definitely some of that going on in that song. The constraint was helping us.
But it gets back to something we've talked about in some of the other episodes, or we're going to talk about in some of the episodes, is the level of trust that Vickie has in her producer and her engineer to know that he's going to be honest with her, and that, but the flip side to that is that she's receptive to his suggestions. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to say, oh, hook, line, and sinker, this is what we're going to do. It's still her song. But at the same time, when they became collaborators on that, then they were both receptive to what each other had to say, and that mutual respect ended up in this beautifully whimsical, really cool song that really makes you also go investigate, what's it mean to be an Enneagram 7? It's cool. You can go out on YouTube and watch some really cool videos, and some of them are really funny. And I've enjoyed playing the song, but I've also enjoyed the investigation that it's transpired of just curiosity.
Yeah, I have too. Thank you for introducing us to the Enneagram.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Kelsey.
Yes. Easy to Love. It's a song on another universe.
And Miss Vickie, I just have to say that in Enneagram, you're a 7, but in my eyes, you're a 10.
Oh, thanks.
It's gonna be